This insane gridlock strat for Consulate will win you 90% of every ranked game you play. In today's video, I'll be giving you 5 Consulate strats that you need for your ranked games. Let's get into it. But first, let me quickly go over the gridlock attacking strat for top floor first. First of all, you want to spawn near the truck here, and you're going to open up the Visa door. Or you can rappel up to the window for admin. Either one works, this is just a lot less risky. Now, whenever you're pushing Visa or admin, obviously you want to watch out for any roamers. Once you're able to take Visa and go up the staircase though, your first gridlock track, whether you're coming from Visa or from admin, needs to be on the Visa or admin staircase, just like this. This will prevent anybody who is downstairs from flanking you whenever you're doing your east side attack for the top floor. Next, what you need to do is put gridlock tracks right here in short. These gridlock tracks, as you can see, will stop people from rotating from reception into the short hallway just like this. The only issue now is they can come through this double door, so you can put another set of gridlock tracks just like this, essentially making it to where if you throw this gridlock track a little bit more to the right than I did, they can't rotate anywhere from spiral staircase, which is really good for you. One thing that I also want to mention as gridlock is that you need this wall open. People that are smart will reinforce it so you can have your ace or your thermite or your Habana breach this wall, but you have a super shorty, so you really can just do it yourself. Now, as you can see, the wall is open. This angle allows you or one of your teammates to sit here and watch the door frame for anybody trying to deny the person who's planting right there, which if you didn't know is actually the default plant when people do an east side take for admin. Your final gridlock tracks should go on this doorway. It'll just make it a lot harder for anybody in the other site to contest you whenever you're going for this plant, and you don't even have to worry about the right due to the fact that there's gridlock tracks there too, and you don't have to worry about your flank due to the fact that there's gridlock tracks here too. So now all your bases are covered as long as you have another teammate that's watching the head holes here. You can even pair this up with a frag grenade to delay them from pushing, or a smoke grenade for these head holes that are typically here as well, which allow you to plant right here for absolutely free. It's very easy to do, and I've actually done it a lot in my ranked game, so I definitely know that it is possible, and it's something that you should definitely consider when you attack top floor. Now let's say that you're attacking the basement instead. Well, this Monty strat is actually really good if you want to rush the backside. Pause. Now, if you want to go backside and you're down to have a high risk, high reward play, Monty's a good operator here. If you bring hard breaching charges or you have a teammate that can open up this wall, getting in this room is the first step. Once you're in this room and you've cleared it out, you can immediately go down this hallway and put your shield up just like this. Once you're here, you can clear the right, clear the wall, clear the doorway, and this is where you need to have a teammate. A lot of the times, teammates will just rush through the doorway and get past you and go to the right or go to the left, but you really should tell them to stay behind you, or else they'll just die. It happens so often you wouldn't believe. But what you need to do as Monty specifically is don't even clear the right, go to the right, don't clear the staircase. If there's people in here, don't even worry about it. Just push the left and have your teammates deal with them. You're gonna push the left just like this. Now, if there's head holes on this wall, which a lot of people do have, then you can use your smoke grenades just like this to smoke off the head holes. Not only does the smoke grenade make it to where they can't peek from the head holes, but it also makes it to where you can peek this doorway while only having to worry about the right just right here. Then you can push into kitchen pretty easily. Your only worries now are the head holes here, and the rotate here, and the doorway here, and maybe even a rotate here. But all of this is pretty easily able to be dealt with if you have a teammate behind you. What I recommend doing is throwing a smoke grenade just like this. This smoke grenade, if right next to the table, just like I did, will smoke off the door and the head holes, making it to where you only have to worry about 2 rotates. Typically, there's only going to be 1 person on each rotate, and you can pretty easily take a 1v1 with either of them if a teammate is on you and take kitchen control. No one is going to expect a Monty to be backside with smoke grenades to cover head holes, and a lot of times you can get absolutely free kills. So you know that it absolutely works. But we've been talking about attacking strategies for a while now. So let's go over this basement strat with Izami on defense. First of all, let's pretend that you have impact grenades. I didn't want to bring them because I want to make the head holes so that I can show you instead, but you get the idea. You want impacts. You don't actually want to waste your impacts on any rotations whatsoever though, because you're going to save them for impact tricking. Use your deagle then to make head holes all along walls that you need head holes on. One on this wall, one on this wall, and one on this wall. You optionally as well can have head holes for the kitchen wall too, although this can be a double-edged sword because you can have people like me who play Monty and just face check the holes or smoke them off and make it easier for attackers to use than for defenders to use. It also gives them an angle to go all the way back there and get a long angle on the rotate here, so in my opinion it's not worth it, but do what you want to. Now, in terms of actual Izami barricades, there's one that's way more important than all the other ones, and it's the Izami barricade on the top left of this box, just like this. This barricade will cover your rotate, which is huge, because a main problem with rotating right here is the fact that if they open the wall, you just can't rotate, which is really bad. But with this Izami barricade, you're easily able to, and it gives you something to play off of as well for the wall. wall. The second most important one is the barricade that goes on the top right of this box here. This will make it to where you can be on these head holes and you can rotate in this hallway here without having to worry about the yellow door, which is absolutely huge. It allows even more rotation options than the other zombie barricade beforehand. It also makes it to where if you're playing on these head holes for the yellow door, you don't have to worry about the wall either, which is super, super good. It eliminates all the angles that need to be eliminated while also giving you angles that you wouldn't have before. Now wait, before I talk about the third zombie barricade, let's talk about something a little bit more important. Impact tricking. If you put holes above the wall whenever it's reinforced, you can impact trick. Now, smart players that are on attack will see that you impact tricked the first time through here, and then they'll just place their breach lower on the wall. So then your second impact will go through the drone hole. If they're playing thermite or they're using hard breaching charges, this will waste both of their hard breaching charges. Chances are if they're playing ace 2, they'll put their first 2 aces on at first, and then they'll put their third one lower. So if you do what I just told you with 2 impacts, you can completely counter ace, thermite, or anybody with hard breaching charges. Now, if you throw it through the drone first, before throwing it on top of the wall, they're gonna know that there's no way that they can possibly get the wall open, and they'll do a backside push instead with breaching tools that you can't counter. So you want to first trick them by doing these holes first and then do the drone hole. Next is the zombie barricade next to this hatch. A big issue with this site is if they open the hatch here, they can easily get vert onto anybody playing inside of pipes. But what you can do to mitigate this is open a hole here that's slight, and then put the zombie barricade on the metal bar just like this. Well, I guess we're just not going to do that. Now, the third barricade that's pretty important is the barricade that goes on this table, just like so. This barricade will make it to where attackers can't get on these head holes here and hold a long angle through these head holes, but it also makes it to where people on the yellow door can't hold through these head holes onto anybody playing inside of back kitchen on these head holes. So it eliminates really long angles for attackers that they could use from yellow door or from the back site to kill any defenders that are rotating that may not suspect them to be holding the angle. It's really good, but it also allows you to get angles onto any attackers here, and you can play off of it, which is nice as well. If you get on top of this cabinet here, you can also play off of it just like this. If you put it more towards the right, you'll be even more hidden, which is great, and it gives you even more angles as a defender, and it eliminates attackers' angles as well. But that's pretty much it for the zombie strat. But what if you want to play a more aggressive and fun approach to the basement site? Then this shotgun Ella strat is going to be super, super good for you. I actually made this one up. It's really, really fun, and I definitely recommend it if you want to take the game a little bit less serious. Now, as Ella with the shotgun, first make all the head holes and rotates for your team. Now that you've made all of those holes, it's time to put your deployable shield down, and typically I like to make it for the rotate, or I like to make it next to this box. Pretty much anywhere where I told you to put in a zombie barricade, a deployable shield is also acceptable as well. After you've done that though, for the next minute 30 of the round, you're going to be playing in the back side, so you can just run away. You want to place your Elamine on the spiral staircase, place an Elamine somewhere on the Visa staircase as well, and then your final Elamine is going to go exactly on this box right here. Now, in terms of reinforcements, I have 3 reinforcements that you need to have just because you're playing back sight, and I actually recommend you put these down before you put your Elamines down. The reason for this being is because the first reinforcement is this hatch, which is right in front of a door that they can easily get access to immediately out of their spawn. The next reinforcement is this hatch right here, because if they open it, they get a direct line of sight onto you and where you're going to be playing. And then the final reinforcement is the wall next to the hatch, for the exact same reason. It's a direct line of sight onto where you'll be playing. Also, given the fact that you have a shotgun and you're going to be playing off of this door, that is way too long of a distance if they open the wall for you to shoot them back, so you'll die if you choose to take that gunfight. One more thing that I also recommend you do that I'll go over later is opening up the floor right here. Opening up the floor through these wires allows you to shoot anybody through these wires just like this if anybody tries to hop in the window, and they cannot shoot you or see you from this angle either, which makes this just overall a really, really good angle if they try to hop in through the Visa window. But all of that aside, what do you actually do as Ella here? What you do is you try to stop an initial tunnel rush, just like the Monty one that I showed you earlier. All you have to do is sit on this door with a shotgun. As soon as the Elamine goes off and they're close to you, you swing and you demolish them. I've done this one again in many ranked games, and it has not yet lost me a single round. I have a 100% success rate doing this strategy. It's absolutely insane. Now, if you initially don't hear anybody rushing here, you can immediately pull your pistol out and go below the window and play here. If it's been a good minute and people are dying on that site and no one is pushing basement, then what I would do is I would come play this angle right here, where you play the head holes and watch the yellow door, or you watch the breach from behind your shield with your pistol. This and this playstyle here is also that that if someone comes down spiral and hits your LMI here, you can immediately pull your shotgun out and blast them away. It's pretty nice. Once all of your back sight shenanigans are done though, you can immediately rotate to the front sight and use your pistol to demolish kids if you're really like that. If not though, then stick to the Scorpion and maybe honestly stick to a zombie. Now, we've talked extensively about how to defend the basement site, but we have yet to talk about the first floor site, which I think is actually pretty underrated. This is a castle strat for this site, which I think is really good. Starting out, let's talk about this proximity alarm that you'll put in the closet. You don't want to put it under the window because they can hop in this window and they have all this cover that they can use to destroy your proximity alarm, so it will go to waste. Instead, if you put it right here, that means that if they actually walk past it, then the proximity alarm will go off, and it's hard for them to retreat to cover without dying to these feet holes that you'll also put right here. These feet holes are, like I said, so that anybody inside of exposition can shoot the person that hits the proximity alarm. It's a pretty good strategy. One thing I also want to note is anybody watching this video, you don't even have to do the castle strat. If there's one takeaway from this video, it is please reinforce this hatch. I don't care. You don't have to listen to a single thing I say in this video, a single thing, but just listen to this. Reinforce the hatch, because you're going to have a rotate right here, and if you don't reinforce this hatch, they can just open the hatch from below and make it to where you can't rotate in sight at all. Like, you'll just be stuck. So please, for the love of God, reinforce this hatch. Anyways, with that being said, put a rotate here. You put it on the left side because it gives you all this cover right here for the doorway that a right side rotate would not give. And then put your second proximity alarm on the doorway right here for anybody trying to rush lobby. Now, in terms of your castle barricades, I have one that you should do that you might find a little weird, but hear me out. What you're going to do is do this double door here. This may seem like a bad strategy, but with the other castle barricades in mind, you'll begin to see why I do it. Your next castle barricade is going to go on this window just like this. This will make it to where if you have any roamers on yellow stairs trying to come back to sight through this doorway, they don't have to worry about anybody on this window, which I've died to plenty of times, so having this barricaded is just a must for me. Now, as castle, you're going to head upstairs. What you're going to do is actually open this hatch just like this. Now, a lot of people like to reinforce this hatch because it's right above sight, which is actually a good strategy. But with this castle strat, you won't need to do this because you need this open so that your roamers can come back to sight due to the fact that I castled the double door all the way over there. To do this, you'll castle off this doorway first. Castling this doorway makes it to where anybody on yellow stairs or anybody on this window can't see anybody playing on top of the hatch for vert. But what it also does, as you can see when you castle this doorway, is it makes attackers actually go to the left, because if you're an attacker pushing up here trying to take upstairs control, instead of giving away your position and destroying this castle barricade for no reason, you're just going to push to the left, which is where you as the castle player are going to lay the trap. But we'll talk about that later. Your final castle barricade, however, is going to go on the bathroom door just like this. The reason that you do this is because if you don't, they can get on this bathroom window and see a very tight angle into anybody playing up here, which is where you're going to be playing. If you don't do that, they can get somebody like an Ash, a Zofia, or maybe they can just shoot this wall open like this, and now they have a long angle onto anybody trying to rotate upstairs at all. But if you castle this doorway off, you don't give them the option to do that. Pair this up with optional feet holes here as well, and if anybody hops in, not only can they not escape bathroom from this door, but they're trapped in there with feet holes that you can use to shoot them. This won't work if they're pushing yellow though, so it is pretty optional, but I like to do it. Now as castle, you have a setup that allows you to play inside of console on top of the hatch with optional vert as well if you want to stop anybody from hopping in through this window where you have a proximity alarm. It's very nice. This is very high risk and high reward, because the high risk makes it to where people can kill you and then they get all the vert and they get a hatch to sight, but the high reward is that you have so much vert that you can play off of, like for the window and for the hatch, and your roamers have plenty of places that they can go to rotate back to sight, that it doesn't really matter. I personally like taking a risk and it wins me a lot of ranked games. I could go more in depth if you're interested, but that's pretty much it. Check out this next video. My name's Alka and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.